Hello everyone. For our Kundalini yoga practice, we are going to focus on having more fun with the process of our life. What does that mean, to have more fun with the process of our life? For many, that can be relaxing, focusing on peace, presence, patience, self-love, compassion, joy, creativity. It's being in this moment and allowing ourselves to be happy with what is. And I think that's when our imagination can really awaken and share with us the sort of simple and subtle pleasures of being alive that are found within ourselves, within the movement of our body, our awareness, our breath, the way that we can sort of sensitize ourselves to to nature and what's going on in nature in a way that becomes like a sort of observation, contemplation, and a deep meditation that fulfills us in such a unique and precious way. So having more fun with the process of our life is, we can say, letting go. We can say accepting what is, releasing control. When we control a lot, we get a lot of frustration and impatience because we have such expectations. And I think everyone's expectations in many ways probably is not being met, right? Because of the stage that we're in. So when we have such high expectations of, I gotta do this, I gotta be this, it creates so much impatience, and that becomes frustration. And over time, with too much frustration, it becomes anger, right? And then too much anger, it becomes self-hate. So finding ways to enjoy the process of your life is really having more faith in yourself and faith in the universe. Faith in your ability to create your wildest dream, okay? And the more that we start to have faith in our wildest dream is when we start to raise our self-esteem, right? By being a man or woman of our word, by showing up, by being reliable, doing what we say. All those little things that we kind of don't really think add up to self-esteem actually really do. And self-esteem is really important to having faith and trust in the process of our life. Because when we show up for ourselves, we do what we say, we are man, woman of our word, we're reliable, we're consistent, right? We really check up on ourselves daily, right? We're really taking care of ourselves. That builds up self-esteem. When we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not being reliable and consistent, and that kind of internal chaos, or that chaos that we're creating in our environment, that makes us very shaky, it does lower our self-esteem, right? So a part of the fun with the process of our life is to actually feel more steady in yourself. And there are actual things that we can do to feel more steady within ourselves, okay? We can meditate the mind, but really it's that feeling you get when you are reliable, you're trustworthy with yourself. You listen to your intuition, right? You participate, you show up, even if it's challenging and it's not necessarily fun, you still do it. Because all those little things add up to really feeling confident in who you are. Right? When you get to, show up for your creativity or your self-expression or your healing or, forgiveness or you really take care of things that you need to take care of. Right? You go through the challenges, you go through the disappointments, the losses, the grief, and you go through it with a sense of, I'm taking care of it, I'm taking care of myself, right? And all of that kind of adds up to feeling really confident in yourself and your ability to be steady with, change. And change is very unpredictable and not in our control as we would like it to be. But I think when we have more fun with the process, change doesn't have to be something so serious to the point that, we really become self-destructive, right? Or we really become negative and really become sort of dissatisfied. I think one of the greatest sort of practices of the mind is the neutral mind, and be able to hold that position regardless of what change crises is going on the planet. Because the intensiveness of life and the universe and the cosmos and Earth will continue to intensify, right? Summer gets really hot, the winter gets really cold, and we have to find a way to be neutral with it, right? So that we can steady ourselves, so we can actually start to live. We can't live if we're not steady, if we're not really in that neutral mind, in a way of fun and play. Playfulness is really a steadiness within the self. It really is. It's like it's very hard to play when you don't feel that steadiness in who you are, when you don't feel that confidence, when you don't feel that self-esteem, that you really are taking care of yourself and following through on whatever your intuition is really guiding you, your guidance. So we're going to sort of check in with ourselves and see, what way can we have more fun with the process of our life. Because it's really that neutral mind, that meditative mind, that, peaceful state is where we really receive our high imagination, high creativity, right? We can talk about in this world, there's so much noise about hustling and hassling and grinding, right? But we never really talk about what is the space in which real high creativity comes out of. Because I don't think real creativity comes out of the hustle, the hassling, the grinding. I think that's a pushing for determination, for breakthrough. But I think the creativity aspect and the real prosperity aspect comes in that peace state, comes in that neutral mind state, comes in that receptivity state where you're actually getting in tune with yourself and you're allowing the wealth to just kind of awaken inside of you. It's not something external that you have to hassle and grind to get. It's something that you just kind of open up within you, right? So we're going to see in what way can we have more of a playfulness in the way that we're moving forward, in even the karmas that we're facing. Because that's going to give us a lot more of a steady headspace than if we're just kind of, really anxious about it, or really hard on ourselves, or, always in a state of being triggered, right? That not enough, or, I had to try to force myself to be enough, or, all of that kind of pressure we put on ourselves. When you kind of relax into the process of your life, you just allow yourself to really see this moment, this day, as an opportunity to live a whole life. And that's what all sort of, meditation practices are focusing on, really, in many ways. And see, in this moment, when you really know that you're really in this moment, you can actually get a lot done in a day. When you're really in this moment, a lot of times we want to check out of the moment, we want to escape, and all of that can be, that dreamy and imagination can be a part of the day. But when we're coming from a place of like seriousness and coming from a place of like being hard on ourselves, or just coming from a place of not like no confidence or no self-esteem in it, then it feels like we're not really taking care of ourselves, right? Because if a part of taking care of yourself is just watching a beautiful movie or something like that, or 8 hours of Netflix or something, then do you. But if you really feel that there's something else that really wants to move through you, there's something that you really want to experience or create, or you really want to get in touch with. Because some people, that whole thing about not really like dropping in or plugging in becomes like a procrastination. It becomes like a habit that over time it builds up with this feeling of, instead of this confidence or this self-esteem, we feel like this kind of apathy, or we feel this kind of inability, right, to be able to have faith in ourselves, or to follow what we're wanting to do, right? So I think starting to care for ourselves is really starting to see in what ways are we feeling more confident throughout the day, having more self-esteem throughout the day, and what are we doing or being that is giving us more confidence and self-esteem. Because it's really not necessarily something we get from our job or from family or friends, or what people say about us or do for us, or it's really in a way that you relate to your reality. Some people can have all the validation of the world, can have all the money of the world, or all the attention of the world, but still have this low confidence and still have this low self-esteem, where they're always triggered, by themselves, because they feel, down on themselves, or upset or depressed about themselves, because they're not really allowing themselves to be playful, to relax and really give this day like their full attention and their full awareness, right? Their full neutral mind, their full kind of sense of wonder. So confidence and self-esteem is really a character development, and we get character development in the ways that we show up for our reality, and the way we take care of reality. And if there's something we don't like about our reality, then we look at ourselves in the mirror and we say, okay, what do I need to be? Like, okay, do I need to be a man and woman of my word? Do I need to like do what I say? Right? Do I need to show up? Do I need to participate? Do I need to really like reinvent myself, look at my habits, my patterns, my behaviors, and start to, make it fresh? Do I need to clean my house? Do I need to, spend more time in nature, have a garden? Like all these little subtle things, they do add up, right? So, confidence and self-esteem really does bring that sense of steadiness, in which we can experience a playfulness where, things fall short, disappointment, loss, grief, past relationships, but we're not so serious to the point where we are living afraid, right? Because when we get so serious, we start to live afraid, right? But when we start to play with this form and we don't really take everything so seriously, we can go through all the rejections, all the whatever things that don't, go in our favor, or things that seem to be against us, or adversity and obstacles, and we're not so much caught up into it. Like it's something's like wrong with me, or something's wrong with the universe, right? And just find ourselves just unable to be happy. So see in what way can you become more steady, and so that you can feel more playful. Like what's going to help you to become more playful? What's going to help you to become more playful is just spending more time in nature walks, Is it going to the beach? Is it creating a garden? And is it making toys? Is it connecting more with your crystals, your pets, right? Making your house more beautiful, right? Giving more patience with yourself. Maybe it's, expanding your mind and going deep and asking real intense questions of what do I really want? Like having a reality check, right? Have a reality check that really reveals to you, okay, like I need to think in new ways because the way that I'm thinking is not really creating the reality that I'm wanting, right? And then start to kind of go into that headspace and heart space. And that's the thing with confidence, self-esteem, is it allows us to rewrite or reinvent anything. If it's a job, if it's a relationship, if it's a home situation, if it's just a way that we're relating to ourselves, so our habits, behaviors. And that's the thing with confidence and self-esteem, and why it's more internal than external, is because it's like it gives you this ability to be able to sort of, shift your reality, move in ways you've never moved before. Take on new adventures, take on new relationships, so you can have more experience of your greatness. When we make that reinvention of ourselves, or the shift of reality, like from, a way of thinking that's like about a job or about a relationship or living situation that is just not what we want, but maybe we said that we wanted, but we're not really being honest, so we get that reality check. And then when we start to really see the shifting of the thinking and the habit and the routine and the behavior and the way we're doing things, and and really see that shift, that reinvention, that's what makes us feel great. Because it makes us feel more responsible, more accountable for our reality. And that makes us feel more interactive, more involved, right? And less like feeling this uncomfortable with the changes that move us. And then therefore we can start to offer more, we can start to feel more playful because we're comfortable with changes, because we have it within us, these great experiences of knowing how to take care of it, knowing how to shift our thinking. Right? A lot of times when people don't shift their thinking, it's like through decades, it's like they're always uncomfortable with change, always uncomfortable with change. And it becomes like this obsession, this paranoia, this addiction, this control freak, this anger, this constant frustration, right? This victimization that has so many excuses behind it, has so many complaints behind it, but never really has a space where the reinvention can happen, where the shifting can happen, where the accountability and responsibility can happen, right? So we want to have experiences where we can reinvent ourselves, where we can sort of see into a reality check. And sometimes, people like, they don't like the reality check, but, reality checks throughout our life are actually really good, because it means that we get to see into our ways of thinking and ask ourselves, is this really, the kind of experience that I'm really wanting? And what can I do to kind of shift my thinking or my imagination, visualization, affirmation, meditation, so that I can start to see a relationship with my environment that's kind of opening up ways for me to be more abundant, and for me to have more peace, for feel more steady, more playful. Because what can happen is your reality won't even change. Like maybe, your job doesn't really change, right? You're still doing the same kind of, maybe job description, right? Or you're in the same living situation, the same relationship, right? But all of a sudden it's like it is completely different, because you're wiring yourself to relate to it from a more playful perspective, rather than maybe a mindset or habit or behavior that was coming from a very like unconfident, low self-esteem place, coming from this this internal, like this internal upset that really doesn't have to be there. It doesn't have to be there. right? It's just a matter of fact of the way you're relating to this thing that is outside you is coming from a place of internal upset, right? But when we start to kind of relax and be more playful and start to have a steadiness, we can have the same thing that we wake up to, but our whole relationship to it is shifts. And what's going to happen is you're going to see the external things shift in your favor, in your grace. And if it's a new job that comes up, then it's going to come up. Right? So it's really, we think it's like the external thing, like, okay, you know, just do this thing, hassle or grind, but it's really the internal projection onto it that is the real thing. The grace that you put into it, the mindset you put into it, your attitude you put, all of that is really what's feeding into the environment. So that's why there's so much about going back into this internal space and seeing your external reality from a place of the internal reality, and how am I taking care of myself? What kind of attitudes, behaviors, habits, routines, people, relationships, ways of relating that I'm doing and being? Okay, and that reality check is like, gives you this just playfulness to be able to like, okay, like, I may not be able to change my external reality and change the world the way I think it should be, but I definitely can change very much this internal space. This internal space. I definitely can change this internal. And that's what a lot of people do. The thing is like, we think, okay, I want so much to change the environment, like the external, like I just want so much a relationship that's harmonious. I want so much this type of thing or that type of thing to happen, or to, you know, for me, something to get to normal or whatever it is. But we don't realize that a lot of the external stuff is like, you can change by your force, but the real change in a real, like a profound, like refinement of like a real sustained and sustainable change in our external reality is the changing of the internal, right? Because you can, you know, some people, they spend a whole decade like wanting a relationship and having the same relationship again and again. It's like they date around, it's always the same person, it's always the same thing, and they're frustrated and angry because they want so much to change their external reality and the people they're dating. And it's like, you know, they're trying to force it, right? By forcing people, their partners, to be different than their past partners. It's just a waste of energy. But when that person can go internalize and have a reality check, they'll realize, okay, well, I need to refine this behavior, this habit, this lifestyle, these type of friends, this type of way of doing things. And boom, not only do you get sort of grace kind of pouring into your external reality, but you start to see like your relationship with your past partners, maybe, you know, the most recent partner you had, it completely shifts. It becomes probably more playful, probably more grateful, and probably like you're learning the lesson and you're taking accountability and responsibility that actually makes you feel more free, right? And not, you know, trapped in the thing that you're trying to force to change. You feel more free, right? And therefore it's like you experience so much more fulfillment, because you realize, okay, wait a minute, you know, I'm just going to take responsibility and accountability for my thinking, for the way that I'm relating to my, you know, feelings and the way that I'm expressing them. And I want to have more playfulness to kind of imagine, right, myself, or expand myself, right, through inspiration and empowerment, to kind of move in ways internally that's going to make me feel more in touch with reality. We want to get more in touch, because some people, it's just they're projecting, there's just insecurity, they're just distorting and not even realizing that they're doing it. So the best thing that we can even offer a relationship, even offer ourselves, is reality check. In the way that we're giving ourselves a reality check, we're seeing we want to become more aware and observing of ourselves so that we can see, like, the seriousness or the playfulness, right? To see into that internal space, and is it allowing me to live a full life? Is it allowing me to live in fulfillment here and now, in both of emotionality, intellectuality, maybe sensuality, and spirituality? And that will just bring so much contentment to this external thing that we're trying to change so bad. Because that internal thing is actually the sustaining thing behind any, people can get external thing and they can force themselves to do this, that, and the other, but it doesn't sustain. It doesn't have a sustaining thing, right? But when we have this internal thing, this real internal confidence and self-esteem that's from our character development through experiences, reinventing ourselves and being playful and going through, all of that reality check, it actually makes our external sort of changes that happen in response to us sustainable. Like prosperity, sustainable, creativity, sustainable, not just for a decade, right? Or for 2 years or something like that. Because it's coming from a real internal confidence in self-esteem that's with us and us right here and now. Not with a person, not with a thing, not with a place, not with what we're getting, not with attention, not with whatever it is. It's just us kind of caring for us and like being a man, woman of our word and following our heart and showing up and participating and feeling like really good about ourselves because we actually are really doing what we're saying. And if we don't know how to do what we say, then we figure it out. We find ways through our own self-knowledge, through our own karma to figure it out. And that's what makes us so confident in self, and have this self-esteem, is because we know how to take care of it. Right? We know how to take care of it so that we're not so dependent and codependent on this environment thing to change, right? Because we know it's going to change anyways. It's going to change anyways. It's just when we're in this internal space of being, more so changing this internal space, which we have full control of our internal space and what we can really control, because it's our space. No amount of oppression can get us to not change what's inside internally. Yes, we can be voiceless, we can be mute, but our mind can still imagine. Our mind can still imagine. We can still dream, regardless of how like oppressive our society may be. We can still imagine. We can still sit in a corner in a room and imagine, right? And I think that internal space is like what we talk about the monks, the Tibetan monks, the Buddhists, is what they get into, why they can sit in a cave like high in the mountain where they only get, maybe food once a week, right, for, storage, and they just, are doing their own imaginings, reading, Sanskrit. And that's that's like their ultimate like living for them, because they want to challenge their mind. They want to see how much they can be in love with their internal reality, just them with them. And I think that's both such a brutal challenge, but also such a genius challenge. Because most of the geniuses that I can think of creatively, scientifically, kind of had that experience where they're like literally laser focused on internal thing, like a a monk, or Tibet monk, like in a cave and just there for like 8 hours, just kind of looking like they're sitting and staring at the wall, reading Sanskrit or something like that. And it has that same kind of like, you're so, even people who are great musicians, like who just play guitar like 8 hours in their gig or whatever, it's like they're just in this laser focus internal like play with themselves, right? Like they're changing internally, and they're just so into like what it's like to reinvent themselves. Like when you listen to Prince in his concert, like, you know, it's 4 hour jam on the guitar, and it's like he's reinventing his internal stuff and expanding internally, and all you hear as the viewer is just all these different guitar things that are just you've never heard before, and it's so genius because it's something that's coming from a deep place within him that is like almost like he's completely reinventing his whole like relationship with the guitar right in that moment as he's doing it. And he's seeing into how he can be more playful, and that's a place where we start to really see the renaissance of the way of doing things. When you see external people trying to be genius, trying to like mimic that kind of internal like state, usually it's like they're forcing it, they're grinding, they're hassling. Usually they're an imposter, they're watching other people always, they're trying to see what other people are doing, they're maybe trying to copy what other people are doing. They're always like in their environment asking other people how to do it, trying to force themselves to do it, but at the end of the day it never really is satisfying for them, because they're never really getting their real reality kind of reinvention that they're wanting. Because the whole thing with the universe, it starts internally and then it goes externally. But people sometimes don't know that, so they think if they grind enough, then it'll bang their head on the wall enough all of a sudden. But it's really not that, you know, forcing of the external. It's that probably the breakdown that happens internally that gets the breakthrough all of a sudden, because it's that internal breakdown that can happen for people, rock bottom, that really does completely just drop them into their internal, like force them to go in the internal. And that's usually when they get the, you know, whatever kind of genius or imagining that just kind of, you know, sets free their relationship with what they're doing or who they are, what's going on around. So, whew, enough talking. Let's go tune in. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Tune in, inhale. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Sadgare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Sadgare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Adgare Name, Jagadgare Name, Sadgare Name, Sri Gurudev Name. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. And just stretch, 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 stretch through the aura. Stretch the heart open. Bring your fingertips to the ground. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to begin this little meditation, really opening up a space of wisdom that every person has inside, a state of wisdom, a real connection to the inner hidden self. That is the real poet, the real artist, the real painter, right? Coming from a place of being in play, fun, just in you, in your own mind. And care for that mind. So Gyan Mudra. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Don't drop the arms lower than the breast. Close the eyes and chant very loud. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. 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 Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. 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 Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, 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 Satanam, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru. Satanam, Satanam, Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam, Satnam, 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 Waheguru, Satnam, Satnam, Waheguru, 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 Satnam, Satnam, Waheguru, 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 Satnam, Satnam, Waheguru, 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 Waheguru. Go a little faster. Satnam, Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam, Satnam, Waheguru, Waheguru, Satnam, Satnam, Waheguru, Waheguru, Satanam, Satanam, 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 Waheguru, Waheguru, Satanam.
Reach the arms up, hold the breath, activate collarbone. Keep the arms up, exhale. Full breath in, inhale. Exhale. One more time, big breath in. Hold the breath, now twist left to right 7 times. And exhale, relax your arms down.
Just feel the openness, cleaning, clearing, raising the vibration of your entire aura. Raising the vibration of your entire aura. Now, we're going to immediately plug into this meditation. Drop in, follow me. Ik Sat City Wa Hey Guru Ik Sut Nam City Wa Hey Guru Ik City. Wa. Hey, Guru. 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 Ik Sut Nam. City. Wa. Hey. Guru. Breathe long and deep. Feel a vibration moving around you, through you, in the aura, in the mind. The high vibration. Ik Sut Nam. City. Wa. Hey. Guru. 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 Ik city, wa, hey, guru, ik, Sut Nam City Wa Hey Wado Ik Sut Nam City Wa Hey Guru Ik Sut Nam City Wa Hey Guru Feel this white light now in your aura, this white light. And just feel all the shadows inside of you. You're bringing awareness to it. You sing it. Ik Sut Nam City Wa Hey Guru Ik Sut Nam City Wa Hey Guru Ik Sut Nam city, wa, he, guru, ik, Sut 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 city, wa, he, guru, inhale, exhale, inhale, last time. Exhale. Just feeling how well you're doing, how beautiful you are, how extraordinary this life is, and your full breath, full participation and willingness to grow, to forgive, to have compassion, to care for yourself, for the reality that is inside as the key to unlocking all reality that is in the environment external. Inhale deeply. Exhale.